Well, happy 4th of July week to everybody. It is the Unash and Dukes Podcast coming your way here on Spotify, on our Unash and Dukes Podcast channel, on YouTube. Various ways you can download us, view us, listen, what have you, while you're working out, while you're mowing the lawn, while you've got a ice cold lemonade in your hand, hopefully in the shade this week because it is hot. The way I guess it's supposed to be for the 4th of July. And we welcome you in, presented by Emel's Hideaway, First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids. They're right across from the Lindale Mall, next to the Home Depot, open at 4 o'clock Monday through Saturday. Classic local American restaurant. They've got catering, fully stocked bar, and delicious, delicious food. So thanks to Jamie, Chris, everybody over there at Emel's Hideaway. Do appreciate everything they do for us. Hope you had a good weekend, Mark. How are you?
I did. I'm great. Ready for a hot stretch here, and the beauty is it's a wet hot instead of a dry hot, right?
Oh man,
65% humidity, just dripping out there, but we'll get by.
we always do. We always do. And you know what? We've been pretty lucky this year because,
Hmm.
to be honest with you, it has not been a hot summer yet. So I guess we're making up for it now, right?
Exactly, and things will change, and but sports go on, and everything from golf to World Cup to baseball, and sports world keeps spinning.
I mean, we're not going to talk a lot about the World Cup. The Americans, I think, play Wednesday against Bosnia Herzegovina in San Francisco at San Francisco Stadium. Don't call it Levi's, San Francisco Stadium. But Monday is kind of favorites day in Brazil. I know enough about soccer, Mark, that Brazil should beat Japan. And the Japanese team got off to a good start, and Brazil had to score late to advance 2-1. So they advanced. And then Germany and the Netherlands are both heavily favored on Monday as well. So this is what the one and done stage, if you will. The Americans play on Wednesday, as I mentioned. So we'll see how it plays out and see what happens as the World Cup continues on. I'll say this World Cup on Fox, but NBC on Sunday, Mark, they had a very strange day, and I'm glad I am not in charge of sports programming at NBC because it would have been a nightmare. First of all, the women's PGA should we say the sponsor, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, had torrential rains in Minneapolis. So that was on a 4-hour rain delay. Didn't see anything throughout its broadcast window. Went to Hartford for the final round. This year, NBC had the Travelers. The final signature event that had more birdies than I think we're going to see this week at the Deere. We'll get to that. They had a rain delay. Boston and the Yankees are supposed to play Sunday night baseball. They actually didn't have a rain delay, but NBC kept it. Fortunately, it all worked out that they could go back to Minneapolis for the end of the LPGA major, got that in right ahead of when they conveniently ahead of when they blew the horn to start things off at Hartford again. But that went into the baseball game. So you had people complaining all over the lot at NBC. Just a few people, mainly golf fans, were happy. I feel for them. It's a no-win situation. I think they made the right choice because a golf signature event, I think, is better than game 81 or whatever, even though it is Yankees Red Sox. But man, I felt for them.
You mean we have extra time and something other than soccer? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, I don't know what was on the Golf Channel at the time, but couldn't the golf move there and NBC go ahead with the baseball coverage? I don't know. I don't know all the logistics of it, but sometimes it's a nightmare. You have, the college basketball season, the windows are so short. We often have a game concluding and it airs the first 5 minutes on another channel. And and whatnot. But yeah, the programming is tricky sometimes for sports, and it was for NBC. But you know, speaking of extra time, people watching soccer should know, and I'm sure they do. It's you have continuous time, you have stoppage time, and now we have extra time. Unlike, it's a grand time to be alive, by the way. Uh, yeah, we can have overtimes. They call it overtime in most sports, but soccer, extra time. No more draws. And speaking of draws, I can't wait for the Cape Verde match. Cape Verde got in without winning a match. 0-3. Didn't win a game, didn't lose a game, but drew 3 times.
God bless soccer.
Beautiful, isn't
Cape Verde's got a toughie, though, I think, in the first round. They get one of the heavyweights, so it could be a short stay for Cape Verde. But hey, they've captured our imaginations. That's for sure. If I was in charge of NBC, which I am not, like I said, I think they made the right move, showing the end of the golf, which actually did not finish, which also angered golf fans. You can't play in the dark, Mark. You can't race usually on an oval when it's raining. You can't play golf in the dark. So they had to come back this morning at 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern time and 8 o'clock Central time. And they were out on the course for about 10 minutes. And Scotty Scheffler's still winless this year, even though he leads the FedEx Cup. He's come close so many times. Victor Hovland getting his first win of the year, 8th of his PGA career. Travelers always has a great finish. I'm still not convinced it's a signature-worthy event, but that's just my opinion on it. Signature events are done. We gear up for the Deere this week. We'll talk more about it with Brian Haas on Caddy Smack on the Unash and Dukes podcast coming up midweek. But I'll say this, at least for 2 years, and I think we all know what's going to happen in 2028, Mark, with the John Deere Classic. It's going to go to that middle tier unless something strange happens where John Deere comes up with a deal as the official agronomy supplier of the PGA Tour. But we know it's going to be at that middle tier. But it may have, and it will have, its best field ever this year for the John Deere Classic. There are a lot of biggies that are going to be in Silvis, Illinois this week.
Yeah, as far as what happened Monday morning, it lasted about 10 minutes, and it was match play between Hovland and Scheffler. And as we often see in match play, Hovland both had great second shots on the par 4 18th. And as we often see in match play, Hovland made his putt. He was outside of Scheffler and put pressure on the number one player in the world. And Scheffler missed his putt. And Scheffler's doing fine. He's won $13 million since his last victory. So he's doing fine. But I think, he wants wins more than the money, I think, right now. They could have started that event earlier on Sunday. They didn't have to start tee times at 3 o'clock local time. I realized a lot of it is due to TV, but now we turn the page to the John Deere, as you mentioned, and it's a terrific event, terrific for the Midwest, terrific for the Quad Cities, and it is a really good field. Maybe not terrific, but really good field for the Deere. Jordan Spieth is there, Ricky Fowler's there, Tony Finau's there, Keegan Bradley's there, among others. And interestingly, and maybe not surprisingly, Zach Johnson is there. He is bypassing the U.S. Senior Open on the Champions Tour to play in the John Deere. For people that don't know, it'd be strange. Why would he do that? Well, obviously, the Deere has been great to him. He won the event 14 years ago. He's on the board of directors. It's home to him, and it tells you a lot about Zach Johnson. He could easily say to the folks at the Deere, sorry, I got to play in this major event on the Champions Tour, but no, he's going to be at the Deere, and people, the patrons are going to love that. In between wiping their brow and getting a cold one.
I made a bet today with someone. I said Zach's going to make the cut. He
I don't
always
know.
plays well at the Deer.
Yeah, that's not out of the realm at all.
No, I'm on pro Zach side for this one, and I think he's going to do just fine and make a little noise. Jackson Coyven is making his professional debut at the Deer this week. Um, Max Homa. I mean, you can go down. There are a ton. There's not a doubt. This is the best field that the Deer from top to bottom has ever had there. Probably will have it next year, maybe even a better field because everybody's got to they got to accrue as many points as they can get next year going into 2028 to get into that bottom 90 or top 90, if you will, I should say. So next 2 years, I think the Deer is going to be living high on the hog. Now, it's not a signature event. There's not, 8 of the top 10 in the world there. I get it. But for the John Deere Classic, this is a great lineup. And get over there if you can. I know it's going to be hot, but it's always a lot of fun. And they put on a good show in Silvis. It's easy to get there. Just get to the parking areas, shuttle over there. Easy as pie. Usually air conditioned buses, by the way. I don't know if they will be this year. I'm not going to say yes or no, but they have been in the past. And see it because we probably got 2 more years of the biggest names in Silvis before in 2028 it's going to be a middle tier event.
I think the structure going into effect next year was really in the John Deere's wheelhouse. It's not going to be a signature event ever, no matter what the format is, and it's going to attract some really quality players the next couple of years with the new format. And the Deere is it's got a lot of tradition. Some great players have won the event. Bryson DeChambeau won it. Stricker has won it multiple times. On and on and on. Victor Regalado won it one year. You remember who the first champion was, don't you?
Dean Beeman.
Dean Beeman. He won it the first 2 years. Yeah. But yeah, the history of the Deer goes back a long ways, and it has become a wonderful event. It is what it is. It's not again a major. It's not a signature event, but it's a good quality event.
Who didn't win
Tiger Woods.
Who beat him? You remember?
Ed Fiore.
Ed Fiore.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Probably the shortest hitter in PGA Tour history, Ed Fiore. But beat him at Oakwood, at beautiful Oakwood back in the day before it went over to the TPC Deer Run. So we'll talk more about that with Brian Haas on Caddy Smack in the gym class. But like I said, if you can get over there, it's a great place to take the kids to. Very kid friendly, and have a good time over there. Get some Whitey's ice cream too. That is primo stuff over the Quad Cities. Happy Joe's and Whitey's ice cream are what they're known for over there. Birthplace of both. So have some of that when you go over there. We are presented by Emil's Hideaway, First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids, right across from the Lindale Mall. Also, thank you to Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance. Kurt on Johnson Avenue Northwest in Cedar Rapids. He can help you out, bundle your policies, et cetera, et cetera. Also, thanks to Vim Ritter Sportswear, 817 2nd Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids, right? And they're your one-stop store for screen print and embroidery. Hunt Graphic Innovations. You need help with websites, need assistance in graphic design, et cetera, et cetera. They're the people to see. And also Dr. John Woolner at Epiphany Dermatology on Council Street Northeast in Cedar Rapids. Thank you to Doc for helping us out. Do appreciate it. Baseball from the weekend. Interesting stuff. Don't count out the Red Sox, I guess. Mark, they're still 10 under, but they swept the Yankees. Does anyone want to be dominant in the American League? I'll ask that question. Uh, Yankees got swept at home, still 13 over 500 at this point, but it's now the first place Tampa Bay Rays instead of the New York Yankees, Mark. Toronto is struggling and struggling. Seattle is struggling and struggling because they went to Cleveland and got swept. Cleveland and the White Sox, pretty much neck and neck. Does anyone want to win the American League this year?
No, somebody's going to win it. May not be to the last couple weeks of the season. I think that's fun. You don't have the Dodgers leading by 10 games in the National League West. We have races all across the board. Tampa Bay is one of the hotter teams. Philadelphia is closing fast on Atlanta. Atlanta's falling in hard times. Phillies are hot. I don't think it's all because of Don Mattingly taking over for Rob Thompson. I just thought it was a matter of time before the Phillies put it together, and they really are. And the Miami Marlins, I looked in one power rating today, and they were number 4. They're only 4 games over 500, I think. But Sky Otto Lopez, the shortstop, is hitting tremendously. Probably going to be an all-star. You probably can't name many other Marlins, if any. But they seem to do this for at least a good part of the year, and they're doing it right now. And your White Sox are right there. They're top 10 in the power ratings, and after a tough stretch, kind of rebounded, and right there with Cleveland. So, but the story, I think, for the last week or 10 days has been the Phillies, for sure. Tampa Bay holding ground with the Yankees and that Miami team. So, lots not going to be decided till well after the All-Star break.
San Diego is 10 games behind the Dodgers already. So they're thinking wild card. They go to Wrigley Field to start the week.
Big wild card matchup, yeah.
Yeah, good wild card matchup. Cubs, interestingly enough, Cubs have been winning as of late. They took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee, got a big double play in extra innings on Sunday to pull that one out. Cubs signed 2 waiver pitchers that they threw at the Brewers and won both games. Lost to Miz on Friday night, who threw 105.5 miles per hour. 5th fastest pitch in Major League Baseball history, in case you're keeping up with that stat. Guy's the best pitcher in baseball. Do we agree on that right now? Is it?
Yeah, I think you have to say it's him. But the Cubs were leading that game 1-0 into the 6th or 7th inning until the Brewers broke through. Colin Ray pitched not as dynamically as Mizorowski did, but yeah, this kid is something else. And the Sanchez left-hander in Philadelphia is really good, but nobody's pitching better than Miz right now.
No. Cardinals have suddenly hit a wall a little bit. And I'm kind of curious to see which Cardinal team is going to emerge in July, especially after the All-Star break. A lot of guys kind of playing maybe above their level a little bit. We'll see. But Cardinals have slid down to 3rd. And then the Pirates and the Reds are just kind of treading water a little bit. We had a managerial change after the Cubs went into New York and made the Mets look like a single A, 8U, triple SA team. They had enough, and they made the move at that point. With that payroll, 14 games under 500 for New York. And it was, I mean, when your broadcasters are calling you out, I mean, Gary Cohen on the Mets broadcast, one night they made 6 errors against the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs played well, but the Mets handed games to them. They just look lost and lethargic at that. Biggest disappointment in baseball by far are the New York Mets.
So what do? Fire the manager?
Fire the
You
manager.
can't get rid of the players that made the errors. You can't get rid of Juan Soto, who I swear, every time I watch a Met game on a ground ball, he trots down to first base. This guy's a problem, I think. And some of the players and former employees have said as much that Soto is being coddled in New York. And maybe it was the manager. And maybe that's why the manager needed to go. But some say that Soto's been coddled in New York, and that trickles down. Other players see that. They think, well, hell, I don't need to play hard. I don't need to run it out to first base. Um, so something had to happen. It was going to happen eventually, whether the Cubs destroyed him or not. The change was going to happen. Now it'd be interesting to see if they play any better. They're too far out now to make a difference, but that's not getting the bang for the buck in New York, that's for sure.
Mets are 9.5 out of a wild card at this point. So that tells you just how bad and poorly they have played. We got the All-Star finalists, and people are hand wringing over this, um, because but we've said for years, Mark, the All-Star game is an exhibition. It is for the fans. You don't get to see the best players each year start. I mean, that's just the way it is. Cub fans are up in arms because Pete Crow Armstrong is not one of the finalists. There are other teams that are up in arms because their best player who's having a great year is not one of the finalists. It's basically it's a popularity contest. You got a ton of Dodgers, you've got a ton of Yankees, you've got a ton of Toronto Blue Jays in there. That's just kind of the way it goes each and every year. The real All-Star game starts about in the fourth inning when a lot of the guys that should be starting get in there. So I guess what's new this year, right?
It is and always has been, or has been for quite some time. An all-star selection is a half-season award or a generational star. I mean, Aaron Judge could be hitting 210 with 12 home runs. He'd probably still start. He'd be voted in to start because he's that popular and he's a generational player. And other guys that having a great half season, they're going to become an all-star and maybe never hear from them ever again. There's been plenty of those. So all-star game is what it is. You want, to see the best players, whether they start or not. I want to see Byron Buxton. I don't know if he should start or not. He's one of the leading home run hitters, but
I think he should.
23 of his 25 home runs have been solo shots. Yeah.
That's not
He's
Byron's
when
fault.
healthy and playing center field. He's a what, 23 solos?
Yes.
Yeah. No, it isn't. But and he's been playing DH a lot, so we'll see if he starts. But guys like that, you want to see in the game.
Yeah, and everybody has to have a representative. We know that. But there's usually at least one deserving player on every team. I don't know who the Met representative is going to be at this time. It's not going to be Soto, I don't believe. Not going to be Luis Robert. I know that. Um, I don't know. It is what it is. It's in Philadelphia this year, and I'll watch it. It'll be fun. And to be honest with you, I probably enjoyed the home run derby the night before more than I have the All-Star game lately. And I never thought I would ever utter those words, Mark.
Who's going to be the White Sox All-Stars?
Ooh, that is a great question. Um,
The Murakawa was going to be.
Murakawa, I think, but he's going to probably still be out. I'd say Vargas
Yeah.
at third base. Montgomery's not hitting big average, but he's one of the top home run guys for shortstops when he does play shortstop. Vargas is playing a little first base lately, but I'd say probably Davis Martin has to be. I don't know why he's not
Yeah.
included on all these all-star lists by the writers. The guy's, at 9 wins, ERA of 3. just over 3. I don't see how you can keep him off, but it might be a numbers situation.
Yeah, I'd say Davis Martin for sure. He's got to be, right?
Not the bullpen closer.
No, there's very few of them around. I can attest to that.
True, true. Oh, it'll be we will watch it and we will take it in though. Unash and Dukes podcast again presented by Emil Sideway, First Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids, right across from the Lindale Mall and next to the Home Depot. Thanks to them. Thanks to Kurt Gustafson Agency of American Family Insurance, Kurt on Johnson Avenue Northwest in Cedar Rapids. Also, Hunt Graphic Innovations, Dr. John Woolner at Epiphany Dermatology, and Bim Ritter Sportswear in downtown Cedar Rapids. Couldn't do it without those great folks, and we thank them for helping out this week. If you're headed to Iowa City this weekend, allow yourself a lot of extra time. You know what the biggest topic in sports that I've been with my ear to the ground this weekend was, Mark? You know what it is?
No, what?
Savannah Banana Ball.
Yeah,
That,
I, I know
everybody's.
people that are going. Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's the toughest ticket in town, and it wasn't a cheap ticket to begin with, but Savannah Bananas baseball is taking over the country, and they will be at Kinnick Stadium coming up for sweltering performances this weekend. Know several people going, and they are just cannot wait for this to happen.
yeah, and it's a big weekend in Iowa City because you've got the Jazz Fest going on. You've got Big and Rich concert going on. The University of Iowa put out a notice saying, you know, if you don't have to go to Iowa City, don't.
Well, that's an interesting take. Don't come. Restaurants are
But
loving that.
Savannah Bananas is really a phenomenon, I guess, more than anything else. I mean, you can see them on national TV. This game Friday, I think, is going to be on national TV. It's got unique rules. 2 hours and that's it. No extra innings, no extra time. Um, it's not a game, it's a show, and it's like anything else, a concert or what have you. It's there for the entertainment, and they do a good job at it.
The Harlem Globetrotters of baseball
Yeah.
is what it is. And you know, if it's your cup of tea, so be it. Um, I love the Globetrotters, but I know what I'm getting there, and maybe it's just because I'm too, you know, dyed in the wool baseball from my days playing. But I think it's just I just can't. Whatever. It's
I
okay.
want to I want to see how the field is configured.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the outfields is going to be very, very close.
You know, it's one thing to throw down a wrestling mat or a basketball court, but it's quite another to put a baseball field in.
Tailgate spots for fall are opening up for this weekend. So more money, more cash, please, for all those folks.
Man.
Fun stuff.
No, I hope everybody has a good time because it's good entertainment if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right, Mark, we'll talk midweek, a little golf. We'll talk more about the John Deere U.S. Senior Open without Zach is this week. And if you have a question for our friend Brian Haas from Lake House Sports, go ahead and get it to us. Easiest way is probably through our YouTube page, Unash and Dukes Podcast. You can just leave a comment if you want him to help you out with your golf game as we get into the month of July. So we'll talk with Brian. I got a couple of questions for Brian. Not so much to do with the game, but just things I've noticed. And I'll save them for the midweek edition. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right. See you, Mark. We'll talk next time.
Got it.
All right. It's been the Unash and Dukes podcast, everybody. Thanks for listening and tuning in, and we will talk with you next time.